What's going on, people? Myke C-Town here. Here we are, end of the year. Yeah, this was a year that was pretty shitty for a lot of us, but it was a great year for music, in my humble opinion. Art many times thrives during really dark periods, and I think that this year was absolutely no exception. And yeah, this is gonna be my top 30 albums of 2020, and it was actually really hard to get this down to only 30 albums. There was so much good shit that dropped this year. I could have easily made a top 50 list, which takes me to a really quick point that I want to make, because I saw a lot of people arguing, not a lot, but some, arguing on Facebook and Twitter and Reddit about how people who make top 50 lists are liars, and I'm letting you know that that is just plain stupid. All right, that may be the case for people who only listen to one genre of music, but for those that don't, 50 is actually really easy. Maybe you guys don't understand just how much music comes out during the course of a year. And the way I see it, if I listen to 150 albums in a year, which really isn't that much for someone who listens to a lot of music and doesn't watch a lot of television, narrowing that down to 1/3 of that you think is actually the best stuff, the cream of the crop, I think that completely makes sense. And there are people who listen to even more than 150 albums in the course of a year. So yeah, just because you don't listen to that much music doesn't mean that others don't. So stop taking your personal experience and forcing that onto everyone. That said, yes, this is a top 30 albums of 2020. I really wanted to get this down to a top 20 just because I wanted so badly to label this video top 20 of 2020. Just so I could say top 20, 2020, 2020, 20, 20, twin in the video at some point. But I was still able to do it, even with a top 30. And if you didn't get that 20 twin reference, I genuinely feel sorry for your mother. Plus, I did a top 30 last year, so 30 again this year, right? So I put this list together based on the albums that had the biggest impact on me, as well as the ones that I returned to the most. And before we get into the list, as usual, I'm letting you guys know, this is my list. This is not your list. If you do not like my list, nobody cares. But you're more than happy to drop your list down there in the comments section so we can all pick it apart and or maybe find some music that we didn't know existed in 2020. So, yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. At number 30, we're going with The Oracle with Hypogeum. I found this album late in the year and I fell in love with it. Great ambient electronic music that feels like the soundtrack to a really bleak art film, but not in a pretentious way. At number 29, I'm going with Ages of Blood with Pagan Medieval Aristocracy. Fantastic raw black metal with insanely good riffs and this really triumphant sound. At number 28, we're going with Perdition Temple with Sacraments of Dissension. And yeah, this is the best album that these guys have done. Absolutely brutal and unrelenting blackened death metal that punches you in the face the entire time. At number 27, we're going with Griff Smiling. I'm probably butchering that, but it's right there if you want to read it. I'm gonna go with both of the albums that they did this year. It's sort of cheating, but this is two albums that dropped at the exact same time, and I really can't decide which one I like better, and I refuse to have two albums by the same band in two different spots on my list, unless the albums were distinctly different, and these aren't. But they're both amazing ethereal black metal records that are somehow catchy, so yeah. At number 26, we have Fiona Apple with Fetch the Bolt Cutters. Fiona Apple doing what Fiona Apple does best, that weird jazzy sound that she's been doing for years. It's not my favorite album of hers, but it is still fantastic. At number 25, we're going with House of Harm with Vicious Pastimes. Absolutely brilliant post-punk new wave album. They've absolutely perfected this sound, in my opinion. It's super catchy. It's dancey while also being extremely dark. It's just fantastic. Number 24, we're going with Algiers with There Is No Year. And this album gets better and better the more I listen to it. Their brand of that soulful post-punk is really infectious. And this one is powerful and passionate. At number 23, we're going with Ebony Pendant with Incantation of Eschatological Mysticism. Whew. Yeah, really, really well-composed, riffy black metal with a lot of atmosphere. Number 22, we're going with Basmu with The Encircling. Nasty, raw black metal, no gimmicks, no extra pointless shit thrown in, just straightforward, cavernous, disgusting, nasty, evil-sounding stuff, and it's just great. At number 21, we're going with Shirley Collins with The Heart's Ease. And Shirley is one of the absolute greats when it comes to traditional folk music, especially psychedelic folk music, and this is such a beautiful and poignant album. Number 20, I'm going with Old Nick, and I'm gonna go with Flying Ointment. And this was pretty hard because these guys dropped 12 projects this year. I have no idea how they managed to do it, but it was hard to nail down which one to put on this list, since I didn't want to put more than one album, like I said a few minutes ago. But I just went with the first one that I listened to, and that's the one that I had fell in love with, and that's the one that really sucked me into the band. So yeah, that's one I went with. But all of the releases that I've heard from them this year so far have been great. At number 19, we're going with The Weeknd with After Hours, and this album is still growing on me and getting better and better with every listen. And yeah, I just feel like The Weeknd just doesn't miss. His brand of weird and dark R&B is just so good, so good. Number 18, we're going with The Sun's Journey Through the Night with Crawling Nebula of Dismal Light. And this is such a monster of an album. It's super detailed and has so many well-thought ideas put into it. Just great atmospheric raw black metal. It's definitely worth a listen. At number 17, we're going with Rorsath with Under Vast Dream Skies. And I discovered this project last year with their first album, Moonlight's Wrath. It's just this really creative dungeon synth black metal amalgamation, almost like really evil sounding dungeon synth with these wretched black metal vocals. It has such an amazing atmosphere to it that I just love it. At number 16, we're going with New Duo with Acid Rain. Smooth, jazzy synth pop with fantastic songwriting. Number 15, we're going with Rome with The Lone Furrow. Another great addition to Rome's catalog. His brand of neo-folk just keeps getting more and more detailed and intense. And this one is great. Whew, halfway through. Number 14, we're going with Revenant Marquis with Youth in Ribbons. Really raw and twisted black metal from the UK. As I said before, this shit had to grow on me, but once it got there, it stuck in my brain. At number 13, we got Blood and Sun with Love and Ashes. Kind of poppy, kind of gothy neo-folk. It has this very dark and eerie vibe to it. Just amazing stuff. Number 12, Vanguard, Rage of Deliverance. This showed up out of nowhere and I became obsessed with it. This is just an EP, but I listened to it so much this year. Sonically, it's basically a more pissed off and modern version of Earth Crisis, which was exactly what I would have wanted in 1994, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And apparently it's what I wanted in 2020 as well. So yeah, I absolutely love this. At number 11, we got Villavallo with Gothica Fenica Volume 1. This is still holding strong on the list. It's the frontman of Him, a band that I don't care, I love. But yeah, he's playing the same shit that Him was playing. This could have easily fit on Him's last album, but I love it. Poppy, gothy, love songs. It's just awesome. Woo! Down to the top 10! Alright, so yeah, at number 10, Chambre Freud with Puissance de Vide, Triomphe de Morts, and this is one of my favorite current black metal bands, continuing to show exactly why I feel this way about them. Aggressive, pissed off black metal with great riffs. Number 9, I'm going with Military Shadow with Blood for Freedom. I cannot get enough of this album. It's either heavy metal tinged punk rock, or if you want to call it punky heavy metal, it doesn't matter. To me, it's just a great piece of Japanese punk, and it's just fucking awesome. Number 8, we're going with Les Chasseurs de la Nuit with Gleam on You Empty Gem. And I loved the last album they did, but this one is more straightforward neo-folk. It's very reminiscent of Kim's other band, Of the Wand and the Moon, but it's just fantastic. At number 7, we're going with Mac Miller with Circles. Brilliantly composed poppy alternative R&B that I've been absolutely obsessed with. Number 6, we're going with Lamp of Murmur with Air of Ecliptical Romanticism. Another band that kind of showed up this year and just took the year over musically. 3 releases and a split, I believe, and it's all top-notch material. But what's wild is how much more advanced, to me, this one sounds than the previous material. It's the most mature stuff that he's done. Great black metal that finds this perfect balance between melody and aggression. Number 5, Hank Von Hell with Dead. Like I said in my mid-year video, this is the singer of Turbo Negro, and his previous album was basically him continuing Turbo Negro sound, and it was awesome. But this one is more of a sleazy hard rock record. So if that tickles your fancy, make sure you check this out. At number 4, we have Katera with, I'm not going to try to butcher that name. I'll put it here. But yeah, this is still the shocker of the year for me. A one-man black metal album that plays black metal all with acoustic guitars. It sounds like a weird idea, but it comes together so good. This album is seriously phenomenal. And speaking of incredible black metal albums, the best black metal album of the year for me is number 3, Pascal de Ver with Imwald. And like I said before, this guy doesn't miss, and I honestly think this is some of the best material from him. Perfect, wintry black metal that sounds cold, sounds pissed off, and it's just awesome. These next 2 albums could have been flip-flopped. They're kind of tied, but I don't know. I made my brain separate them. Number 2, Over, Flowers of Evil. I don't understand how these guys keep doing it. They keep getting better and better and better and better with each album. And with every album, I'm like, God damn, they've perfected this sound. Then the next album comes out and I'm like, God damn it, they did it again. And I'm blown away all over again. Seriously, One Last Dance is one of the most perfect songs that I've heard this year. But this album is just brilliant, apocalyptic, psychedelic synth pop. It's just great. And for me, the number 1 album of the year is Spanish Love Songs, Brave Faces Everyone. And yes, it was very hard to decide between this and Over, but this one won out because it's the most relatable album to come out this year for me. It's actually the most relatable album to come out in a few years for me, but it's grown punk songs about being old and being aware of your mortality, as well as the mortality of the people around us. It's well played, it's contagious, and it's extremely smart punk rock, but I love it. And yeah, that's it, guys. Now, don't get it messed up. This is not all of the albums that I listened to this year. It's not all of the albums that I enjoyed this year. There were so many other great albums, like the Capobuela album, the Deers album, the split between Revenant Marquis and Lamp of Murmur, the Envy album, Somerset Thrower, Saint Marie de Luz, the newest Stay Inside album, which I didn't even know existed until a few weeks ago, and it's just amazing. But discovering it so late in the year, it would have been kind of disingenuous for me to put it on this list. But you guys, if you like old school emo, go listen to that shit because it's fucking amazing. The new Deezer Doden album that came out a few days ago, amazing. But same thing, it'd be disingenuous to put it on here. But yeah, there's a lot of great music that came out this year. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a lot of that music. If there's anything that you guys think I missed, be sure to drop it down there in the comments section. But yeah, man, let's keep this fun. Drop your list, share your list, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe and all that good stuff. And I wish you all, if I don't do a video before New Year's Eve, a happy New Year's Eve. All right. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna end it there. But love you guys as usual. Thank you for living. Thank you for loving. Thank you for being you. And I'll see you guys next time. All right? Peace out.